Hello guys, and welcome to day 2 of vibeOps Saturday. So in today's video, we are going to see how to configure interfaces and add interface descriptions using our MCP servers. So in the previous video, we saw how to use the MCP servers basically to connect to the devices and learn from the devices. But in today's video, we're going to configure interfaces as we would normally do as engineers, configure IP addresses, configure interface descriptions on our network devices. So without wasting much time, I'm going to pull up my desktop client. And from last week where we ended, it's asking us what to do. So what I'm going to say is that kindly configure IP addresses between these devices with and interface descriptions. So I'm going to ask my MCP client to basically connect to these devices and configure basic IP addressing and then interface descriptions as well. So let's see how that will go. So it's going to load the configurations, but what I'm going to do is that I'm going to pull up my MikroTiks over here, because for the MikroTiks, when the devices are being configured, you can see it being popping up or showing up in the rainbox for you to see. So let's wait for a while and see. For the Juniper, then the Cisco is going to take the configuration commit before we can see what has happened over there. So let's wait and see what happens. So as you can see, it's loading in the background. So let's wait and see what we get. I don't know which device is going to configure first, but we can wait for some time. So let's see what happens. Okay, so now I can see it's executing the configuration on the Juniper. So let's wait and see when we get to the MikroTik. Okay, so as you can see, we have our interface description here showing up for the MikroTik. And as you can see, the configuration is there. The interface description has been configured. Can you see it? So we have one for ETA 2 and one for ETA 1 based on the devices they are connected to. So on ETA 1 is connecting to the MX204, and then ETA 2 is connecting to the, I think the MikroTik Cloud Core 1004. Now back on the other MikroTik, as you can see over here, we have our interface configured for description. That is the ETA 1 connecting to the CSR 1000V. That's the Cisco router. Let's wait for the IP addressing and see. Oh, and as you can see, we have the IP addressing configured over here. And as you can see, we have the second description for ETA 2 over here. Now, as you can see, the other IP addresses are being populated over here. So we have one for ETA 2, one for ETA 1. Let's check on the other MikroTik. So go to IP addressing, and as you can see, we have the IP addressing configured over here. So now we are done with the MikroTik configuration. So I think it's now configuring the Juniper. So let's go back to the client and see what is happening over there. Okay, so on our Cisco router, we have our IP addresses configured over here, as you can see over here. So I can check for show interface description. Yes, so we have our interface descriptions configured over here. I think what is left is the Juniper. Let's wait and see if the Juniper configuration is done. And I think the Juniper configuration is done as well. So we can check from the Juniper. So this is the Juniper configuration. So show interface there's. And as you can see on the Juniper, we have our IP addresses configured as well. So let me do show interface description. Yes, we have our interface description configured over here. So at this point, I feel the connection, or let's say the authorization, has been done to the devices, carrying out our prompt to configure IP addresses and configure interface descriptions. Now, the next thing I'm going to ask you to do is to obviously check, or obviously it's doing it. So I was going to ask you to test connectivity with the pings, which is very important after configuring IP addresses, just to make sure that we are in sync with the configuration and we have full connectivity between these two devices. So let's wait and see. Yes, so we are done with our configuration. The MCP client has configured the devices with IP addresses, interface descriptions, and I'm sure as well it did a ping verification to make sure that there's full connectivity. So let's see what we have. One thing I'm going to pull up is I want to pull up the MikroTik, and I'll go to the logs. I want to see what actually happened on the MikroTik. So let me just increase the font so we can see. So they go to the logs. So basically what you're going to see is the admin log is basically nothing. So there we go. We have our summary after the execution, and as you can see, there's full connectivity between all the 4 devices. So thank you for watching this video. And as I said, we are not going to do any manual configuration in our lab. Everything that you're going to do is going to be done by the MCP service using the MCP client. So far we've done device learning, we've done IP address configuration, we've done interface description. Now the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to configure OSPF, I'm going to configure LDP in our next episode. So if you can see the picture, I'm building a full MPLS lab for this series where you're going to have clients connected and everything. So basically that's what you're going to do. So thank you for watching this video, and see you in my next video.